Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new to the channel, my name is Sophia, and I make book-related videos, mainly videos about literary fiction and mystery thriller books, but a little bit of everything. And to be honest, a little bit more capital M mystery thriller, lowercase l literary fiction at the moment. But that's okay because it's summertime and that's what I like to read, and I'm already rambling. But today I am back with a tag that I do every year, which is the mid-year book freakout tag, where I talk about kind of where I'm at with my reading year, my favorite reads, things that are jumping out at me. Lots of questions in here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Little Spindrift ASMR. Oh, I'm having to turn my air conditioner off to film this because it's really loud. So I need something cold to drink. All right, anyways, let me stop rambling. Let's get into it. So the first question, not to beat around the bush, best book of the year so far. And that would have to be Foster by Claire Keegan. This is a perfectly concise yet deep novella about a little girl who goes to live with a family member and is fostered by them for the summertime. It's about her experience growing up, missing her family, growing into a new family, all the complexities within that, but told within less than 100 pages, I believe, and just some of the most stunning writing I've ever read. I read this originally in my Reading Claire Keegan project, where I read all of her work, and this made me just fall so deeply in love with her. So definitely 5 stars for that one, and favorite book of the year. Although there were some very close contenders, so I will be doing a top 5 books of the year very soon if you want to know some of the other books that have been very close second, third, fourth, and fifth places. All right, next question is best sequel. Usually this is not a category that I have a whole lot to share with because I haven't been as much of a series reader, but I do actually have some really great sequels to share with you. The first being Marble Hall Murders. This is the 3rd book in a mystery trilogy by Anthony Horowitz. The kind of thing with this series is it's all about books within a book. So it's about an editor trying to solve a real world mystery by using clues in a mystery novel manuscript. Lots of breadcrumbs, very like old detective-y vibes as well, if you like that kind of thing. This book was a chunker. It's kind of out of view, but it was 600 pages, maybe more. Definitely a chunky read, but really, really excellent sequel. Also, the entire Part of Your World series, so Yours Truly, Just for the Summer, by Abby Jimenez, are some of my new favorite books of all time. Both like lived up to the first book, if not were better than it, and maybe like fall in love with the romance genre again, which is a genre that I kind of dabble in but don't read a whole lot of. It's a romance genre about a group of friends that work in a hospital system. The first one is about an emergency medicine doctor, and the second one is also about an emergency medicine doctor who's like her friend. And the third one is about a nurse, ICU nurse, I believe, travel nurse. But they're all really, really excellent romance stories that I highly, highly recommend. Having said that, I really enjoyed some sequels. Some other sequels were big letdowns, like Brutal Telling, the next book in the Louise Penny series for me. It is many books beyond Brutal Telling. But this is a detective mystery series that's set in a quiet town in Quebec, and this book just let me down in a lot of different ways. I'll link the vlog where I talk about it. And another letdown for me was The Hunter, which is the next book in the Tana French series. The first was called The Searcher. Don't know what the series name is. I'll pop it up on the screen if I'm able to find it. I just found this book so slow and not my favorite. So a little bit of a mixed bag in the series category. Next is some new releases that I haven't read yet but want to. I originally had put Atmosphere on this list by Taylor Jenkins Reid. However, I am reading it right now, so stay tuned to one of my upcoming reading vlogs to hear what I say about that one, because I have an unpopular opinion. But I also really would like to read My Friends by Frederick Bachman. This was his most recent release this year. And I'm also really curious in Fox by Joyce Carol Oates. This is a mystery novel by a literary fiction author that's very chunky. and like melding the worlds are coming together with that one. So I feel like I'm going to like it. Most anticipated releases for the second half of the year. So I do anticipated releases by quarter of the year. I am late doing my most recent one, although it will be coming shortly. So stay tuned if you want more of those details, or if you want to know kind of what I have been looking forward to throughout the year. I'll link you to some of those anticipated releases videos. But some of the ones that are jumping out at me right now are Ellen Hilderbrand has a new book series called The Academy, set at a boarding school, which just seems really fun. She does a great job at writing vibey books, and it's coming out in the fall time. I think I'm going to really enjoy that. And then kind of a surprise anticipated release that came out is Catherine Newman, who is the author of Sandwich, a very summery family drama short book that I read last year and overall enjoyed the writing, but the subject matter wasn't like my favorite. She is coming out with a new book called The Wreck, which is a sequel to Sandwich, and I'm really curious where that one's going to go. So I probably would say those two, although there are some other like banger releases coming out, so certainly a lot more as well. Next question is biggest surprise, and I have to say Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. This book was like universally hated by a lot of people. It was his release that came out last year. It's a mystery novel about two young boys who have a very quintessentially summer night where they have a sleepover in the tent in the backyard. But one of the boys is missing in the morning when the other one wakes up. We now flash forward to when the surviving boy is 40 years old and he's coming back to the cul-de-sac to kind of figure out what happened. This book is all about toxic suburbia, what is behind the white picket fence, and I really loved it. I don't think a lot of people did, but I really loved it. So it was a really lovely surprise for me. Next question is new favorite author. Certainly Claire Keegan, without a doubt. Also Sally Rooney, without a doubt. Yeah, I think those are the two that jump out at me. I will link you to my videos where I read all of their published works, as that is a fun little series that I'm doing on my channel and made me truly fall in love with these authors. Newest fictional crush. This is not a new fictional crush, but Peeta from The Hunger Games. I don't care if it's cliche. I've always had a crush on him, and rereading the series, the original trilogy this year, has like propelled me back into that love of Peeta. So I really enjoyed reading his story again. Next is favorite character. This is so hard, but I think the group of characters that has like become part of who I am is all the characters from the Part of Your World series by Abby Jimenez. I just thought that the way that, yes, there are romance books. Yes, there are books about relationships, but the way that she addresses the individual characters, the main protagonists themselves, honestly, all of them was just on point. And any book that remotely has anything to do with those characters in the future, I'm going to read because I'm obsessed with all of them. Next is Made Me Cry, and I'm going to have to say Foster. I bawled my eyes out at the end of Foster. I also bawled my eyes out at the end of Story of a Heart by Dr. Rachel Clark, which was the winner of the Women's Prize for Nonfiction this year. It is a nonfiction book about a kind of heart organ donation between two children, and it's devastating in every possible way, but also so beautifully written, and a book that I absolutely loved. Made me happy, not to repeat myself, but The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games is, of course, a series that I've read before. I've seen all the movies before. I read them in childhood, but I was like deep in a reading slump. Deep. And I picked up The Hunger Games, and it just like made me fall in love with reading again. It made me have that like hunger, pun intended, to read books that I had been lacking for several weeks, even 1+ months. And it was just nice to like feel that again. So certainly that made me happy, and I will be picking up the second book here shortly. Favorite book to movie adaptation. I don't have any. So I was going to watch Perfect Couple, the Netflix series, because I just finished the book by Ellen Hildebrand, but I have not watched it yet. So stay tuned. But as of right now, no book to movie adaptations that I have experienced. Favorite post. I would have to say my reading every book an author has written posts. They are really hard to do because um, sometimes the books are similarly sad, similar themes. Um, and it's hard to like put yourself in that place for multiple days. But I do love those. I am really proud of those videos because I get that experience and I'm going to look back on them and remember that crazy week in my life when I read all of the Claire Keegans, you know? So without a doubt, my reading every book an author has written series and Claire Keegan and Sally Rooney were my favorite of those. Most beautiful book, I would go with the British cover of Why Fish Don't Exist. I got this one from the library. I don't actually own the real book, which is something that I need to fix. But I just love the cover of this. This is also one of my favorite books of the year, which I'll talk a little bit more about in my top 5 favorite books of the year video. But it's a nonfiction book about a scientist who, reporter who falls in love or greatly admires this older scientist who has now passed away named David Starr Jordan, but discovers that he has a lot of like complicated, dark parts to him and trying to reckon with that admiration when she discovers those things. But it was phenomenal and the cover was really beautiful. At least this particular cover was. Last question is books I want to read by the end of the year. I would love to be completely caught up on the Hunger Games, read the whole trilogy, read the new releases, everything. So next time when the release comes out, I am not having FOMO. So I'd love to do that. I also read a book called Lilac Girls by, forgetting the author, something Hall Kelly. Anyways, I'll put the I'll put the cover on the screen. But this is actually a book in a trilogy, and I really want to read some of the other books. I've been thinking about these characters ever since I read this book. So yes, I would love to revisit that world. And then, of course, like my anticipated releases, I'm always excited to read those. But definitely, I think the Hunger Games is the thing that's exciting me the most right now to re-experience. So that was my mid-year book freakout tag. It's been a little bit of an all over the place year. I've read more than I've ever read. I've also been in like crushing reading slumps and gotten my way out of them and kind of gotten back into them again. One of my favorite parts has been getting to share it with you guys through weekly reading vlogs. So if you want the like in detail behind the scenes of how my reading year is going, check out my weekly reading vlogs that I post where I talk all about my by the moment, by the second feelings of reading the books that I do get to read. But anyways, with that, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys very soon with another one. Bye.